Hey, how is everybody? Welcome to the stream. We're doing a live stream today. I want to talk to you about three reasons that we have found through our internal research why most foremen are stuck chasing problems instead of preventing them. So I don't know if you've got a shop, hopefully you do, and you've at that point where you've got a foreman, or maybe you're the foreman of your shop, and you find yourself or you find your foreman stuck chasing problems instead of preventing them. And I say foreman, forewoman, whoever's leading the crew. Maybe it's a department lead. Maybe it's your finishing department. Maybe it's the head of engineering. But why is that person in charge of that department stuck chasing problems instead of preventing them? So we're going to talk about this today from the perspective of the foreman. As many of you have heard, we're going to be relaunching the Foreman 101 training. That's coming up soon. The very first thing is an information call. It's just going to be 30 minutes where you and your foreman need to both be there to hear about the agenda for the foreman training. And if you're interested, then you can let us know that you want to be in the class. If you do want to be in the foreman training, I'll just say this right now. Just text me and just say foreman or foreman training. And you guys already know my cell phone number. It's 315-903-7853. But in the meantime, let's get to what I have here prepared for you. So you've got a foreman. Let's say the foreman's name is Fred, because I'm super creative. Foreman Fred. Fred's good on the tools, and we promoted Fred because he gets stuff done. That's what you look for in a good foreman, right? Yeah. But now you find Fred is overwhelmed. So here's the three big reasons foremen like Fred get stuck chasing problems instead of preventing them, right? So you may have seen these same things in your shop. Well, number one is no time to think ahead. Fred's day, it really just starts with putting out fires. And so he finds himself reactive all the time, like a gunslinger. Problem comes up, I can get it. Problem comes up. Maybe you call him finger guns Fred. He's always got finger guns, right? But listen, it's more serious than that, because that puts a lot of stress on Fred, and it leads to uncertainty. The other word for that is chaos. And the last thing we need when we're running a shop is chaos. And so that's why we need our foremen, our crew leads, to be really strong and have the proper training and support to help them grow the team on our behalf, and for all of us to get stuff done safely, on time, high quality, and profitably for us. But the reason, coming back to why is Fred always putting out fires? Somebody didn't show up. A machine broke down. And I know you're thinking about your edge bander right now. That old glue pot's starting to act up again, isn't it? Or maybe the install team is missing parts. How often does that happen? Your install crew is ready to go, and a gable is missing, right? Or a kick, or if something's missing. You're like, ah. So now we're running. There's no time built into the schedule to plan for Fred. He can't walk the floor with purpose. Check tomorrow's load list. It's all go, go, go with no breathing room. And really what that means is we're setting Fred up for failure. If you've got a foreman like Fred on your team, and you're thinking that foreman training would be a useful tool to help you really stabilize your shop so you can continue to grow, maybe the foreman training's for you. Again, it starts with an information call. It's a 30-minute call. I need both you and your foreman in that call together. And the purpose of that is so that you can both look at the agenda and then leave the call. There's no pressure. You're either going to want to take the course or not. And if you decide to take the course privately, then you can get back in touch with me and say, yeah, Dom, we're in. And if you decide now is not the time, if you decide you don't have the budget, if you decide you're too busy, if you decide the foreman isn't ready to learn, it's okay. At least you started the conversation, right? Starting the conversation with your team is what you need to do as a leader. Open up the conversation. Let's say that you and the foreman come to the meeting, the information call, again, 30 minutes, you hear the agenda, you look it over, get off the Zoom call, you talk to each other for a couple of minutes. And the foreman says, this thing's good, but maybe not now. Okay, when? He says, we might be ready in a year. Okay, great. So we've got some movement. We've got an agreement that he might be ready, but now we have to figure out time. And so now as we work towards the end of that year, he's ready to bring it in place, and you can bring it up again. But if you never bring it up, I guess the question answers itself. It just never gets brought up. Anyways, item number one, why the foreman gets stuck and he's always running, is there's no time to think ahead. Number two is the foreman was never trained to lead. Crazy talk. I remember, my title wasn't foreman, but somebody said, hey, you're pretty good at your job, young kid. And I said, yeah, I am. And he said, do you want to be the supervisor? And I said, yeah. Does it come with a raise? And he said, yeah. And I said, I'm in. And then I started making mistakes left and right. Is that how you trained your foreman? You just took somebody who was skilled on the tools and said, Fred's pretty good on the tools. Maybe he'll be foreman material. But without any leadership training, we're really sink or swim, right? We're throwing him into the water and hoping he's just going to swim. So Fred maybe was great as a benchman, but nobody taught him how to delegate clearly, how to hold his guys accountable, how to hold the crew accountable, or run a morning huddle. Let me back up for a second. Let me ask you, as the owner of this growing cabinet shop, millwork shop, maybe even a closet company, have you shown Fred how to delegate? Have you trained Fred on the tools for holding people accountable? Does Fred know how to run a morning huddle? He's trying to manage people using the same tools he used to manage wood. It doesn't work, right? It's like trying to measure granite with a framing tape. It's just not going to work, right? So you've got to give Fred the tools so he can succeed. And if you don't, put this on me, if I don't, I can't get mad at Fred. I haven't given him the right tools, right? So the foreman training, again, if you want to be in the foreman training and you're just tuning into the live broadcast, send me a text message. Sorry, I said if you want to be in the foreman training. That's not how this works. First, you have to come to the information call, you and your foreman. If you're interested, then you can decide you want to be in the training. And the way to get to the information call is we're putting together a wait list. The way to get on the wait list is to send me a text message. My cell phone is 315-903-7853. Just go ahead and text me and say foreman or foreman training, and I'll know what you're asking for, and I'll put you on the list, and then I'll put together that information call, date and time, and we'll only send it out to the people who have put themselves on the list. So again, backing up here, the reason that Fred is always stuck chasing problems instead of preventing him, number one, no time to think ahead. Number two, we never trained him to lead. And number three, he doesn't have simple systems. When I say simple systems, do this with me. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. That is a simple system for feeling strong and powerful again. Does Fred have simple systems to run the floor or the install site or the shop, whatever you call it? Your shop might be running on tribal knowledge and unwritten rules and just hearsay. Parts are usually over here. This is kind of where we keep stuff. Install details are in the file somewhere. Go find them. Instead of having that certainty, and that uncertainty leads to wasted time. That wasted time leads to stacked up wasted time. Imagine if each of the guys on your team was wasting just 5 minutes a day. You can do the math on how much time impact that really has on you, right? Instead of having simple systems. And Fred needs to get the business running on simple systems so he can get ahead of the game. Fred just knows how to make a cabinet. So Fred spends all his days answering questions, fixing confusion, just being that finger guns Fred, right? It can't be that way. You can get to the size you're at, but you're never going to get beyond it if Fred's always hunting for info instead of running a smooth system where everybody knows their role, their tools, their targets, all of the simple things that run a smooth operation. We want to help Fred break free from the chaos. We got to stop him from being finger guns Fred and being foreman Fred, right? A leader who's trained, who has established tools that work in the field. We don't talk about any reality, did you hear what I just said there? We don't talk about any theory here. We only talk about reality, because that's all I like to deal with. I don't have any time for theory. All these books behind me are great, but you've got to make it real. You've got to make it work. As a matter of fact, the foreman training that we've put together here has already been sent out to our coaching clients who run cabinet shops, and we have gotten feedback from them on what the topics should be, what order the topics should be in, which documents they want to see, and how those documents should be formatted. Everything has already been tested by fire, by real shop owners in your place. And by the way, most of the shop owners are in the, I would say just going by revenue, probably the lowest shop owners in the $2 million range. Most of them are in the 4 million and above. So if you want to see how a $4 million shop finds a foreman, trains a foreman, onboards a foreman, supports a foreman, has the foreman support the team, then you'd probably be wise to join us at least for the information call. And again, the information call is just so you can say no. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. Say no if you like, but at least you get the conversation started. So if you want to be on the wait list, because that's how we're going to run this, send a text message to 315-903-7853 and say foreman training, and then we'll put you on the wait list. Then when we set a date and time, you'll be invited to that. You'll have to attend with you and your foreman. So both of you need to be there. Now, if you're the foreman of your shop, that's fine. Of course, you can be there and you can make the decision. But if you do have a foreman, I don't want the owner saying, hey, foreman, you go off and you take this training. Sounds interesting. You should go take it and see what you learn. No, you got to learn. Your foreman needs you. You didn't onboard him properly. You never trained him. You might as well sit in this training, because what's going to happen is he or she is going to come out of this training a very finely tuned machine with leadership skills, with forms and documents, with checklists, with scripts, things to say, or talk tracks, as you might call them. And you're going to be lost. I don't want that for you as the owner. You at least need to know what's going on. So the owner's got to be there and the foreman's got to be there. That's why we do the info call first. Then you leave the info call. You make your decision in private. If you want to be in the course, then you let us know, right? We're not trying to stuff this down somebody's throat. We need team buy-in here. We're trying to build a culture in our company, a culture where people take accountability, they take responsibility, they want to do things. And you can't do that, we can't do that by forcing them. I've never found that to be the case, right? Anyways, love to have you there if you and your foreman want to be there. If your foreman doesn't want to be there, interesting. But if your foreman is interested in learning more, learning about leadership, learning about delegation, learning about time management, learning about the tools for training the people properly, then you should join the information call for the foreman training. One more time, the cell phone number is 315-903-7853. Just say foreman training, shoot me a text, and we'll get you on the list. All right, thanks for checking in, folks. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.